Rupee on Friday plunged. It has cracked below 56. Crude prices are still simmering. The macro adjustment maybe is behind us, and in the near term, the consensus on the street is that Rupee will remain under pressure. So what is the way forward for Rupee, both in the short term and in the medium term? Let's understand that with Mr. A.V. Rajwade, Forex and Treasury Risk Management Consultant with A.V. Rajwade and Company, who joins us live from Mumbai. Mr. Rajwade, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, everyone on the street is surprised, but I'm sure you're not, because last time when we interacted, you told us Rupee will plunge.
Yes, but for once I think I now agree with the consensus, which now seems to be favoring that the rupee will remain under downward pressure. I think I've been saying this for quite some time now. So, and I don't see any need to change that script, unless of course the RBI steps in the market and starts selling dollar. I think that is the only way the downward pressure on the rupee could be arrested. But there were no signs of this on Friday, and one doesn't know what it's going to do today. As far as the inflows are concerned, I think whatever data has come out after the GDP number, I think all that seems to suggest that the slowdown is affecting corporate growth, corporate profitability, margins, including in the services sector. So I think overall, I do not see that prospects for capital flows, whether portfolio or FDI, have improved in any manner. I think tax cases and so many other things continue to worry investors in India. So I think the downward pressure will persist. The only agency which I can see coming between further fall of the rupee and some kind of further fall of the rupee is of course the central bank. Whether it would like to sell dollars, which would have impact on liquidity, interest rates, and so on and so forth.
Mr. Rajwade, how much more weakness before which you think the RBI is going to sit up and actually try and help arrest the rupee fall?
But it's very difficult to sort of forecast any specific number, because there are two contrary objectives. One obviously is that, as the governor has been repeatedly saying, inflation remains a concern. The downward pressure on the rupee means that the inflation pressures will grow. So one side is that. The other side of it is that given the level of trade and current account deficits and the net external liabilities which we have built up over the last 3 or 4 years, I think there is also the possibility of a balance of payments major crisis coming on the external front, and to correct the trade and current account imbalances, I think a rupee fall is needed to restore some kind of competitiveness to the tradable sector of the economy. So I think it's a very tough call to take which of the two will have priority in the near term.
Mr. Rajwade, in the second half of this year, what to your mind could be the broad range for Indian rupee?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it crosses 60, as far as either calendar 13 or fiscal 13-14 is concerned. And actually, the so-called equilibrium rate is even higher, given the kind of persisting inflation differentials between India and its major trading partners, or the major invoicing currency, which is of course the US dollar.
Mr. Rajwade, some would say 60 is slightly stretched and scary, which means you're not pricing in any economic recovery. You're not of the view that commodity prices will come down. For rupee to go to 60, a lot of bad news has to surface up.
Well, as what we have seen is, one is that the crude price is a little softer. Other commodity prices are a bit softer, so is gold. But what we have seen is that after the gold price fell, the demand has gone up. I think the last month imports were extremely high. And I think we are ignoring the other side of it is, in terms of commodities, that with the closure of all the mines, iron ore exports have come down from something like 140 million tons to a trickle. Coal will be importing coal in increasing numbers if power is to be produced. Gas imports will go up. So it is not as if the commodity prices are going to affect only one side of the earnings and expenditure. Yes, the expenditure could be lower on crude. On the other hand, the earnings in terms of ore exports, the expenditure in terms of coal imports, gas imports, etc., etc., is going to be much higher than in the previous year. So I think I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Mr. Rajwade, good chatting with you. Really appreciate you taking the time out and joining us.